We got to partner together on this and knock these guys out. I'll do the online stuff. We'll both work on the retail.
Together?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do that deal.
No, not you, Kevin.
He doesn't want you.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
I'll take the whole...
First into the tank are entrepreneurs with an easier way to make fire.
Fire.
Hello, Sharks. I'm Connell Banner.
And I'm Frank Weston, and we're from Riverdale, Utah, and our company is Insta-Fire. And we're seeking $300,000 for 10% of our company.
Watch how easy it is. You just touch it with a match or lighter. And you see it light similar to a candle. Now, once it's lit, now it'll take a 20 to 30 mile an hour wind, floats and burns right on water, but yet it's so safe, if I do need to put it out, I can put it out even with itself. Now, have you ever wondered how you're going to boil water or cook your food in an emergency?
Every day.
Every day.
Welcome to the Shark Tank Podcast. Each week, one of the best entrepreneurs from ABC's network smash hit Shark Tank teaches you how to swim with the sharks without being eaten alive. And now your host, serial entrepreneur, TJ Hale.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Shark Tank Podcast. We are going to light it up today. Check that out. I am Pythagoras, reincarnate. And it's thanks to my friends here at Insta-Fire. This is Frank and Connell. Gentlemen, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Are you going to light that up in your hand there, Pyro?
Yeah, it's all on my hand right there.
Just think about how different your life would have been if you could do that trick when you were still single, right? I mean, it could have changed everything.
Well, what's amazing is you got 1,000 degrees here, but it doesn't transfer down. And then I put it right down, lower it down in the water, sits and floats and burns right on the water.
This should be a fish tank. Like I could have a little fish in there on the bottom and then just...
Yeah, there you go.
So this is hot. Like I can feel it on my face from a foot away and it's just a little flame. It's pretty...
Yeah.
That burns pretty good.
Yeah, it burns over twice as hot as a regular wood fire. That's why it'll dry out wet wood, light charcoal, whatever.
When you came out with this mass market, was there just a huge clamoring of fellow mountain men saying, hallelujah? Like, or were they thinking, you guys are pikers, I've already been making this on my own? Like, you know, what was the response? Because I think this is super cool. Like, I would love to play with fire all day for a living.
You know, it's funny because when we first started, it was like we were going to kind of keep it for ourselves. And one of Connell's friends ended up buying a pallet of 5-gallon buckets from us. And so then it was like, I guess we're in business now, you know, the light kind of went on. So then we had to go and get a business license and everything like that. But at first it wasn't going to be that way.
And then I just tried to blow it out and there's a lot of smoke, but
Yeah, it'll take...
it's not going out.
I've had in blizzard conditions, 20, 30 mile an hour winds. Anytime it gets real bad, I go out and play with it.
I'm too much of a sissy to use my hands. I'm pouring it out with water. Sorry. Plus, I got kids. I want to be a good example, right? They're going to want to play with this when they get home. So when I first saw your product, I remember thinking, this is why Shark Tank exists, to show us really cool stuff like Insta-Fire. And obviously, I'm a guy, so I'm a little partial to fire and fire-related products, but I just remember being bummed out that they played it on Sunday night to a reduced audience because between you and Rachel, also from Utah, lots of quality stuff that night. Tell us a little bit about why it took 7 years to get this product to the market, why you were going to go from 300K, hold on, I got the number here, 378,000 in rolling 12-month sales to 850 that year, why a man like you, Connell, wearing that awesome jacket wasn't already doing $1 million in sales, which I'm disappointed you're not wearing today, by the way. I thought for sure.
I could go get it. But no, it's been a fun product. We started out in the emergency preparedness arena, selling to the food storage guys that want to, prepare for the apocalypse, or they want to prepare, just for a rainy day, an earthquake, whatever. They want to be able to boil water, cook their food. And so that's how it really started. So that market, as big as it is, it's really small in comparison to, some of the other markets that we're into now. that's how we started, and we were doing it part-time. Frank had another job, I had another job. So we just kind of played with it for a few years. And about 2.5 years ago or so is when we went into retail.
Did either of your other jobs involve like tomahawk throwing, or was that just the spare time thing?
No, I was a grease monkey. So.
Oh, really?
I was a scoutmaster. That's where that came from. Is just I love the outdoors. Frank loves the outdoors, and the reenactment of the mountain man era. So that's how that came about.
We're going to talk about how you got this product on Shark Tank. Before we do, I want everyone to check out the link at the bottom of the page. It's sharktankpodcast.net/premium-content. And that's where you're going to find the premium episode of us talking about exactly how you got on step by step and what helped you be successful, what you do over again, the mulligans, all that stuff. So make sure you check it out. But I want to know more about the inception of the company and the growth in terms of this great product that took a while to get to market and penetrate retail. First of all, what was the division of labor between you two? Like in the 7 years, when did you join forces and why?
Oh, we joined forces right up front.
Okay.
And my background is, I'm more of a mechanical type. Like I said, I was a grease monkey. So for me, being in the warehouse, working everything like that, it just, it really worked out. You'll hear in the premium section where I say know your boundaries or know your rules. And Connell, he does most of the office sales, works on the computers, things like that. That's just not my life. So I'm mainly in the warehouse, and Connell's in the office, and so we started pretty much from day one. And keeping our roles pretty much separated.
Did either of you have any small business experience prior to that? Were you working for yourselves or were you working for the man?
Both of us were working for ourselves.
Okay.
I was in the computer arena, and he was in the car, fixing cars and stuff like that.
All right, so you aired in February of 2016. I know that you filmed in June the year before, and at the time, you had been ramping up sales. You had 2.1 million sales overall, 380,000 in the past 12 months, but it looks like you were really starting to build some momentum. Home Depot, Myers, Cabela's. I think that it's been a while since I've had someone with this much pre-existing retail penetration. So I want to kind of focus on that a little bit and talk about how Shark Tank fits into that. Tell us when you really started to catch momentum, what you were doing differently. Was it just that you were spending more time, that you quit your jobs, or did you change your tactics and try something new in terms of growing the business?
A little bit of both.
Yeah. We started as I mentioned, we started out in the emergency preparedness arena selling it in 5-gallon buckets, 5 and 6 gallons. And so, we kept having people say, well, why don't you put it in smaller pouches or some smaller bags? And so we started putting it in smaller pouches, and then that's when it was able to go into retail, which made a lot of sense. Now they could, pick one or two off the shelf, and instead of, just a giant bucket, had to put it in baggies or something.
So if I go to Cabela's or Home Depot, is it more likely I'm going to see this on the shelf, or there's a medium-sized packet here too?
Yeah, so Home Depot has this one. They have a 3-pack.
Okay.
That one's the fire starter you held up there.
That's the one that's in Academy Sports.
So there's 3 individual pouches in there.
The one that's in Academy Sports.
Wait a minute.
Nope, that's the charcoal. You had the fire starter.
I think I'm already burned all the fire starters. Okay, that's this one right here, right?
Correct.
went through them all when I was playing earlier.
So yeah, the charcoal starter. People don't like lighter fluid. It stinks. It's dangerous. So when we come out with our
ruins my steak.
Yeah, when our charcoal. That's when we really took off, because it gave Home Depot and Myers and Ace and True Value and all of those, the ability to now have a product that was all natural, but yet could, still light your charcoal.
So this is what got you into Home Depot and started that momentum. Okay.
That's an interesting pouch right there. That's a cellulose pouch. It's made from corn sugar and wood pulp. You can actually burn the pouch, and then the sealant layer.
So I could eat it if I wanted to.
You could actually.
Sounds delicious.
The sealant layer is made from thistle weeds, so it's it's all natural. pouch, all natural fire starter. So when you light your charcoal with it, there's no the flame or the fumes won't get on your steak like you were saying. You know, it won't make your food taste like
Drives me nuts.
gas. So.
And you found a practical use for weeds. You guys are, I mean, you're Greek gods, basically.
That was another company. That was we just found the pouch.
All right, and so now as a result of being on Shark Tank or just the publicity and the momentum, tell us where else you're at. You're at Home Depot, you're at Myers, you're at Cabela's. Take it from there.
Now in Wal Mart, Target, Academy Sports, Do It Best. We'll soon to be into Safeway and Albertsons up in Oregon. Department of Veterans Affairs is going to put it all over theirs. Bass Pro, Bed Bath & Beyond.
Working with the commissaries on all the military bases.
Home Depot Canada. We're working with QVC. We'll be on there.
Bed Bath & Beyond.
So I didn't experiment today. I took some listener questions and I got a lot of them back. But a lot of them have to deal with online sales. So a couple of them are about working with sharks. There's one specifically that has to do with retail penetration, and I want to share this one with you. So the person's name is Leslie Pierson. Her product is goodhangups.com, and the question is for Insta-Fire. Could you share with us some of the challenges and benefits to working with big boxes like Target, Walmart, Home Depot, etc.? It's been called The Race to the Bottom by Squatty Potty on your podcast. Hey, she did her homework. How about that? So can you... Nice job. So can you break down the average margins or range of margins and the other issues that affect working with them? Chargebacks, allowances, returns, etc. I'm also assuming that there is some seasonality to the product and how the big boxes work on selling through the product at certain times of the year. Kind of a long question, but very good. Can you answer that for us?
Some great questions. First of all, you've got to have a product that has enough margin that allows you to have several steps. Because you've got to have distribution, you've got to have a retail, and then you've got to have, your wholesale, and then your retail. So if you're just on your website, that allows you to get that full margin, that, complete retail, if you will, of your product. Luckily, ours has enough margin built in it where we were able to have a two-step distribution that allowed us to still make some money and sell it into retail.
So let's talk about that. On the show, you mentioned your cost to produce the goods was about 18.5 cents. Yep. You mentioned you thought you could drop that a nickel on either new packaging or bulk packaging. I'm not sure which.
But with the machine, we if we get a machine and automate the process, because when we were on the Shark Tank at the time, we were hand filling the pouches.
Oh man!
With an automated machine, we could drop that almost 5 cents per pouch, almost 6 cents.
So you guys were in the lab like Breaking Bad, just pouring them in with a funnel.
Exactly.
No fun.
Yeah.
All right.
It actually dropped 6, so that's better than what we thought.
Yeah, that's a big drop at 18 cents, 30 some percent. The wholesale rate was 74 cents, so it's a pretty decent margin there percentage wise. And then retail is $1.79. I'm always curious in retail when the retailer has what the percentage of increase in their margin is versus yours. At what point do you negotiate that and say, you know what, maybe we can make more money and even it out? Is that a conversation you've had before?
It's a conversation you've got to know. Sharks always say know your numbers. You got to know your numbers before you go in there, and you got to know where your bottom line is, what still allows you to make some money. And, because somebody like a Walmart can promise you a lot of volume, but yet, if you sell it below cost, you screw yourself that way.
Yeah, and a disclaimer, I don't know as much about selling products that cost less than $5, right? But I'm looking at this and saying they've got $1 margin, and I don't know what their opinion is of that either, but they're at $1 and we're at about 60 cents. So they're making a healthier margin than you by some degree. Is there a point where you sell enough of them and go back and say, hey, you know what? We need to even this out, and here's why. And do you have enough leverage to do that, or you just leave it alone?
Most of the time with accessory parts or accessory packaging, like with ours, most of your stores are going to KeyStone it, basically mark it up 100%. That we call it 50 points, and some stores will even go as high as 60. So you just have to be prepared for that. They're not going to even it out per se. because that's their margin.
Well, then that's what I mean. You're already above KeyStone in this case, unless there's a distributor in here that's taking a piece that I'm not aware of.
So they're, you mentioned $1.79. It's actually $1.49.
That's okay. Well, never mind. I'm an idiot. That's it.
So
well, it just depends on where you bought the pouch, but no.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's 100%. So that makes sense. Okay.
Right.
I was wondering where that extra 30 cents, why they were getting the extra 30 cents.
Right. No, so they're, they make their margin. I mean, they've got a giant store, and
And
they've
in
got
fact,
all
Walmart's
employees.
selling it for $1.38, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So they're just under KeyStone. In
So that's that end cap pricing? That's Sam Walton daily deal pricing. All right, so let's go back to the original question, which is the challenges of actually selling in retail and this whole race for the bottom idea. Because you're seeing it amongst even the sharks on TV, where Daymond a couple weeks ago says, I don't want to sell retail and I don't want to sell clothes into big box stores. And that's how he buttered his bread for 20 years. They want to get away from that model. For you guys, it obviously is making a lot of sense, but tell us about some of the challenges of not only getting shelf space, but in managing it after you have it with that amount of inventory.
The managing it is right now probably the hardest. It's with the they give you what they call a ship window. Like with Walmart, they'll drop their POs on a Monday. They expect shipment by Wednesday. So it's just the ship window, logistically trying to get everything out the door. And keeping track of all of your PODs, proof of deliveries. Because Walmart asks for those a lot. Vendor retail or vendor paperwork, as far as the vendor guides, just for a prime example, Home Depot gave us when we were to ship via UPS, we have to put the PO number and the RDC number in each one of the reference fields on UPS paperwork. Well, we were putting PO number sign, blah, 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 and all they wanted was the number. So they were charging us back $5 every time we wrote PO number sign instead of just writing the number. So it's a huge learning curve, but as long as, you got to keep on track of it. Every week you get your reports, you read over them, you work tirelessly trying to keep ahead of their chargebacks.
Yeah, it's like banking with Chase, right? That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and so, from Frank's point, that's what he's dealing with, because he's dealing with the warehouse and everything. From the other side, the finance side, now you've got, people paying you 90 days after you ship. So you still got to buy the raw material, make it, ship it, then not get paid for 90 days. So that becomes a challenge as well. Luckily, most of our companies in retail, we've been able to negotiate like a 1% defective allowance. Now, every other company has a higher defective rate than that, but with ours, you burn it, so there's really nothing to come back.
Even if it's defective, it still gets burnt, right?
Right. So they destroy it in the field. We give them a 1%, and everybody's happy.
Let's spend a little more time talking about retail, since your business is so centered around that. Talk to us about penetrating the accounts, getting in touch with the reps, whether or not you're using product reps yourselves. Talk to us about that process and your learning curve as well, since you've done so much of it.
That was a huge learning curve. Try to call them yourself. You're calling on Home Depot or Myers or Ace or whoever, and you take a call, send me a sample. Well, so we decided to start using reps, factory reps that just get paid a commission when they sell it. So you go in, that's generally about 5% that you pay them, but they already have established relationships with the buyers because they're selling them other products. And so they have an audience that say, hey, I want to show you this new one. You come in as the product expert, so to speak, and talk about the product, and they go, oh yeah, that'd fit right here, or
we have found a rep group that only deals in charcoal. So they deal grills, they deal with accessories, and so that really helped us out as far as getting our charcoal product into different areas, because that's all they dealt with is charcoal products and charcoal accessories. So when you're finding a rep, definitely look for the I don't know, the expert in your, whatever your product is.
The track record in your field, right? In your category.
So the other thing that we did is we asked the accounts, that I know you can't, say one, but give us 3 or 4 that work really well with you, and you're happy with their performance type of thing, and then you get 3 or 4 people that they work with on a regular basis, and then you interview them.
Was it difficult for you to get your product on the shelves when you were making the initial phone calls? I mean, how much vetting did they do?
It's a one SKU thing. They're not going to talk to you, So when you try to get it in, and you go, hey, I got this charcoal starter. First of all, like with Wal Mart, or with Home Depot even, they do a product test, and they'll put you on the shelf for X amount of months, and then, average out your sales and see if they want to take you, see if they want to take your 3-pack or whatever. But, when you got a one SKU or one item sale, it's tougher to jump into something like that. So having a rep group, if you've got one item, having a rep group, where they can go in and take in multiple items, you're not wasting the buyer's time, and you can get in, and it's a lot easier to get in versus trying to do it yourself.
And just to be clear, with your first deals that were pre-Shark Tank, Cabela's and Home Depot specifically, was that the rep group, or was that you getting in front of them?
No,
that was a rep group.
Okay.
Yeah, we had met some of these accounts at different national hardware show, or the whatever other show that we were at, the outdoor retailer show or something like that. And so some of them had seen the product, and then you bring a rep in it that has the relationship, knows how to navigate all the paperwork, because that can be a real challenge as well.
Now, when you were, so we talked a lot about how you got on Shark Tank in the premium edition, so I'm not going to even bring that up really. I just want to talk about some of the concerns, critiques, and criticisms that were thrown at you while you were there and what we can learn from those. One of them had to do with Daymond splitting up the equity with a piece on the existing business and then a higher percentage piece on online. And he said that you've only got 5% currently online, which wasn't stated beforehand. That got cut out. So how much of the conversation on Shark Tank was, well, you've already got retail established, I can help you there, but we need to push and create this online as a new business channel. What was the discussion centered around that?
Yeah, there was quite a bit of that talk, because our challenge is most people go in and have an idea of how to do the online already, and that wasn't our forte. I mean, we really don't know how to do that, and that's where Mark and his team has been so helpful, is to do the online presence. And so I think a lot of the sharks saw an opportunity there. Hey, this is so visual, and then we can show this online and really blow up the online. And I think they saw that as a gold mine there for them.
And then in terms of what the gain has been, I did want to talk about what you've got in exchange for your Shark deal. What strategies are working for you? What's generating the most online sales? Is it YouTube? Is it Instagram? Is it an affiliate program? What's really kind of working today?
All of the above. I mean, we hired somebody to do a lot of our Instagram, and because that's not what I don't know how to. I mean, I know how to do it, but
I can change a tire.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yeah. But no, we had somebody do that, and then the other thing that these people bring is the sharks bring is their connections. So hey, Abe says, hey, let me introduce you to Kyle. Okay, hi Kyle, who are you? Well, I'm one of the big boys at Amazon. Let me introduce you to a program that we can really launch you guys in Launchpad that way. I didn't even know that thing existed.
Are you guys in Launchpad right now?
We're just starting that process. We're getting the A+ pages done, and then within 2 weeks we'll be on that program.
And then did they get you an Amazon exclusives as well, or were you just focusing strictly on Launchpad?
We're working on that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the rate. That's kind of a package deal with. It's funny, especially with Mark. I keep hearing the same thing over and over again. They kind of throw you into these already established trenches and new sales channels, and usually the results are pretty good. So I like getting more details about what specifically you're doing, so that non-Mark Cuban partners can go, all right, well, I'm going to try that too and see if it works for me. So, again, you gave me kind of the blanket pageant answer in terms of all the above. Where have you seen the biggest increase in sales across the board after Shark Tank? Where are you getting the most bang for your buck?
Probably through Amazon has been a big one. Just our regular Amazon sales, online sales has greatly increased. The other thing that's happened is that now you have a legitimate product, that's been quote unquote verified or sponsored. I don't even know what the right word is, or stamp of approval.
Yeah.
So when you call these retail guys, then they go, oh yeah, I've heard of you. I saw you on Shark Tank or whatever, and so you're able to talk to them more. That's been a real blessing for us.
I can't emphasize how many times I get emails, and I think I've talked about this before, but I got one this week from a guy who's local, who's raising capital, and he's like, I tried out before, but now that we're in the middle of a seed round, I don't know if it's worth it. What do you think? My board doesn't think it's worth it. I'm thinking, what has happened to anyone that would make you think it's not worth it? Just that alone, getting on the show. You don't have to win. You don't have to shake hands with anyone. Just being able to call retailers and have them go, yeah, I saw you on TV. Let's talk.
That's probably been the biggest one. The other thing that you didn't see on Shark Tank that was my aha moment, I haven't really talked to Frank about it, is when Mark made the statement of, do you want 70% of a watermelon or 100% of a grape? And
I'm still digesting. Hold on. What did you say?
And so
Definitely 70% of the watermelon, right?
I love grapes, though. Love grapes, especially frozen.
yeah.
Yeah, no, is that when he was trying to get you to win you over? Because there was a pretty vicious equity ass battle. And let's talk about that. So let's go through some more of the concerns. Robert started off, at least in the edit, by saying, what am I missing? You guys should be, kind of, to summarize, said you should be doing better. You should be selling more. And you kind of answered, but I think there was more to that answer we didn't see in terms of in 7 years in with such a great product, why did it take this long?
There was a lot more to that answer. And there was actually a ton more to that answer. We ended up starting the company over in 2012. We kind of hooked up with a group that promised to be the end-all be-all of Insta-Fire. They were going to manufacture, we were going to manufacture, but they were going to rep and sell and do all of that. And basically they went almost 18 months and didn't do anything for us. So
wow.
By the end of that 18 months, we were pretty much, we had no leads, we had no sales, we had absolutely nothing. And in 2012, we started the company over. Did you
sign an 18-month agreement, or did they disappear after month 3 and you couldn't track them down?
No, we signed an agreement with them, and so we were locked into it. And so at the end of that, it was about month 15, they came back and said, well, if you give us 50% of your brand name, we'll continue to work for you and stuff like that. And they wanted us to sign another agreement, and we just said absolutely not.
Where do we sign? Here's my money.
Yeah.
So so the most of the answer to that question when Robert asked that was we made a mistake, we own it. And so we ended up starting the company over. And so that's where most of our sales have come from, was from 2012 on, because from 2010 to 2012 we didn't do anything. We had nothing. So that's in the short. That's the answer.
Yeah, on our own. They had sales, but they were doing it all. We didn't know who they were selling to.
Oh, I see. So they're just trust us. We'll take care of it. Don't ask questions. Yeah.
And they still owe us a couple of grand, but that's neither here nor there.
Probably cheap just to not have them around anymore. All right. So Robert also said you need to sell lots. I have it in caps. Lots of volume, and you are pricing in executional excellence in your offer. I'm out. Now, I went to, I think it was your open call edition video. I was doing some digging on you guys, and some of the critiques were the ask in terms of sales. And I think, if you don't know how Shark Tank works, you might think the ask is a little high because you're always going to come down, sometimes half on your valuation. Was that the strategy? I remember you saying 20% was your low watermark to try to close the deal, but optimally, what were you expecting to happen or hoping would happen?
Anything below 33 is what I was hoping for.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
Because I didn't want a partner.
we didn't want one more. We wanted
Chef in
to
the
be able to
kitchen.
still be in the control. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you shot for 20. You ended up at 30, $1 million valuation for. The thing is
It's more or less 15 each, right? 15 for Mark, 15 for Lori. So it is 30, but you get 2, so it's more like 15 each.
that's where one of the major criticisms of the tank is the valuation there. And you actually did your deal. So, back up your sharks and talk about why that 30% was a good decision.
Well, they have so many contacts and so much expertise. We had tried it for all of these years, and and you put it on the shelf, and it didn't really sell that well because nobody knew what it was, even though it was a fantastic product. The packaging wasn't exactly right. So to bring experts in that have done it before and just can hold your hand and say, come on, do it this way, that's a big time, for us. And we knew we had a fantastic product. We just needed to know how to tell the world about it. So that was a big online thing that we needed.
And it kind of goes back to the watermelon and the grape thing. We had 100% of the grape. Now it's, where can it go from there, and can we get 70% of a watermelon? We think so. So, yeah, 30% would be worth it.
Yeah, and you mentioned Mark's team. I think that's something that's overlooked a lot. Everyone that I talk to who does a deal with Mark says, in terms of accounting, in terms of the website, in terms of a lot of the other fulfillment issues and marketing, I don't even have to take calls. It just gets taken care of for me. So
Right.
it's kind of tough to put a cost on that. I'm looking at the website. It looks pretty sharp. Is this a Shopify page?
Yes, it is.
I don't think Mark Cuban lets his people do anything but Shopify. It's pretty funny. And then for your fulfillment, you're going through Amazon. Are you fulfilling through Amazon on Shopify, or is Amazon doing everything, or are you kind of mixing it up?
Amazon does everything. We ship it to them, and they do the fulfillment.
Okay, so you guys don't even mess with it once it's manufactured, huh? And that works for you?
Oh, yeah, works great.
All right, cool. So going down the list here, Kevin O'Leary started he said you got a lot of work ahead of you, so I thought he was going to go out, but that was just prefacing his offer for $300K for 33.33%. And then on the edit, they just started firing offers at you. I don't know if they came this quick in real life, but Daymond John, $300K for 20% plus 33% of online sales, which is when he mentioned he's going to build that for you. Mark Cuban, I think the best line of the whole show, which I'll play right here, was when Mark Cuban said, "No, not you, Kevin, Lori." And when I heard that, I thought, these guys had to know they were going to air when that happened, because that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Poor Kevin.
That was it made us laugh at the same time, and so it kind of helped with the nerves and that as well, and that was kind of a great line as well.
And then going forward, if you guys said, if you do 20%, do we have a deal? Mark said, no way, not enough equity. Daymond says, wait, I just offered you 20%. And
Right.
20% of the business, but he was still at 25% of the online.
right, he was still, and then he came down to 17.5 and then 25%, right?
Oh, yeah.
But he tried to counter and say, I've already offered you 20%. You guys are racist. Come on, let's do the deal. Did you get any peer pressure?
And we were thrilled to have, multiple offers. We were thrilled to go with any of them.
Had he been 17.5% or even 20% all the way across the board, instead of, taking a slightly bigger chunk on the online side, it probably would have been Daymond that we would have went with.
Yeah.
We talked about it, and it was, when you think about it, you're 15-15 for Lori and Mark, and you're 15-15 straight across the board, regardless of the online, regardless of the retail. When Daymond offered 17.5 and 25, that's a slightly, obviously you're looking for the best deal, right? So
it's
trying to compute all that, why it's rapid fire, you're going, no.
Now this is something like in a Shark Tank, I don't know how you guys prepared for your negotiation, but was a hybrid deal something that you were expecting? Because I actually think it's a pretty fair way of doing it.
No, we didn't expect that at all. That kind of threw us off, and, trying to figure out how it all
Yeah, to
works.
say I'm going to take less of what you've already built and more of what doesn't exist today.
Yeah.
It's a pretty equitable split in terms of.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense.
And then you and Kevin said, I'll do 25% just to do the deal myself. I think that was just to keep things interesting. What were you, obviously this is a loaded question because you've already done a deal, but optimally, were you hoping to get a multi-shark deal? Were you hoping to get more than two? I mean, was there someone you were focused in on? Was it like Mark or Lori? Tell us about that.
We were just hoping to not look like fools. That's, you know.
We wanted, we didn't really care who, they asked us, well, who do you want, as far as on the show and that kind of thing. And so we were happy with any of them. I mean, all of them bring, big things to the table. And obviously multiple was very interesting to us if that was an option and it became an option. And it would have been nice to have 10 minutes to sit and talk about and start.
Right, just take the time out.
Can we go out and, we've seen what happens when people leave and go out in the hall and talk too, so didn't want that.
Yeah, and then I think this is, I'm on Reddit a lot, and these guys, they get pretty angry when things don't go the way they think they should. But the question that I thought was the most vital was when Robert, because it seemed like Robert was just kind of running interference afterwards, which I'm sure is really annoying for the other Sharks. But he said, he doesn't want Mark to win, ever. Doesn't want Mark getting a deal under any circumstances. So we know that. But he says, you guys are going to give up 30% to get into stores you're already in? And I thought, it's actually a pretty good question. I would have liked to have been there when he asked that. Because Marks and Lori are making the hard sell at the high equity. And it's true, you already have pretty good retail exposure. So what did you say? Did you respond to Robert when he said that?
You know what? They were all talking at the same time. I don't even remember Robert saying that.
Really? Just blended in?
I remember him saying that,
Poor
and
Robert.
which is a great question. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if we can have somebody like a Lori Greiner that has all that retail experience, and with the right packaging, knowing how to put it on end cap, knowing how to do ads, knowing how to do all of the retail thing, that made a lot of sense to keep her in the loop as well.
Because as fast as you get on the shelf, you can get off the shelf. It's
it's got to move.
And then we talked about in the premium content, you had 3 days notice before the airing, right? Which is hilarious. And did the Sharks, usually the Sharks get more notice. Didn't call you and say, hey, we're making a change. Maybe in this case, they didn't get more notice. Did everyone know 3 days ahead of time?
I don't know what they knew, but
I found out Thursday morning, I was livid. So it just, I was on the phone to everybody. I was like, what the hell? But, Is there anything major that got missed? Like the site didn't go down? How long were you back order? Like how did you suffer measurably from that, aside from the viewers? What's funny is we built a lot of product ahead. And we were expecting 1 million more viewers, right? So we were expecting 100,000 more orders on that day. So we had more product than what we needed. And so, the good news is we had plenty of product. The bad news is we had plenty of product. But so one thing we tried to do to alleviate some of our headaches at the warehouse was we were going to put the packing slips on the printed label. And somehow there was a small snafu. It only printed one of the SKUs on the bottom of the label. And so there was a lot of people that were getting only half of their order at first until we actually found out what the heck was going on. And so then we, switched back to doing the packing slips, and everybody got their order within a week.
That's not bad.
So yeah, it was we didn't get bottlenecked at all.
Yeah, I was looking on Amazon. It looks like you guys decent comment volume or review volume, average 4+ stars on the majority of the products. Some are 5-star reviews. So it looks like nothing must have gone too bad. But I'm curious about the actual numbers from the Tsunami. With the 1 million viewers not being there, what were your projections versus reality? How did you guys sell on game night?
On game night, we didn't sell nearly what I was kind of hoping
really?
For. Because I expected anywhere between 100,000 and 250,000 orders. And we kind of limited our website down to one SKU so that we knew what they were going to have to order, because that's all we were offering.
Was that a Shark Tank bundle?
Yeah. So we kind of knew what we were gonna do prior to going into the tank, or going into the air date, and so it wasn't as far as the numbers that we expected, because come Monday morning, I think we only had 3,000 orders out of the 100,000 that we were expecting. So it was Monday morning, I was pretty disappointed. I'll be honest with you.
Well, no, I appreciate your honesty. When I consult or counsel people, I say, look, it's hard to measure in the first 48 hours. Some people blow it out of the water, but I'm looking more at that first month. Like, how much momentum can you keep, and how much lighting in a bottle can you capture and retarget or automated market to, and get those sales corralled before the 3-week momentum runs out. So did you guys have a decent 3 or 4 weeks after the show?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
okay.
We did probably additional 150,000, within the next, couple of weeks after.
Is that gross or quantity?
Gross.
Okay.
And then, but what's really caught on is all of these other retail stores, our existing stores that have the product already sold more and have reordered, and
so we ended the quarter roughly at about 538,000 in sales.
So you got a pretty big halo effect boost, right, all the way around.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. And we expect to do probably 2.1 million this year.
So last 7 years, 2.1 million. This year, 2 million. That's not so bad. Not so bad. Is your main area of focus Amazon, or is it expanding your retail reach?
We're expanding our retail reach.
Okay.
Right now, like I said, we're getting into DECA, doing the commissaries, the Department of Veterans Affairs. We've got different various, super value, various grocery chains that we're trying to go after, getting into the areas such as that. And so, and then with our Amazon, and our online sales, we're definitely expanding that. Plus, we're going to, expand to the international arena as well.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that for a while on the show. Where are you in the process? Are you selling any other countries besides outside of continental United States and Canada?
Selling to Canada. We had an appointment with Home Depot Mexico. I sent down 9 different samples, and every one of them got returned. So I can't get product into Mexico.
Meaning it never got to them, not that they got it and said, ¿Qué es eso? No me gusta.
DHL held it up twice, and UPS held it up twice. So I couldn't even get product into Mexico.
If you need some good coyotes or runners to get your stuff down there, I'm in Arizona, man. I got phone numbers. I know people.
Exactly what I was thinking. Head down to Mesa and just kind of hand out product.
Yeah, man. We'll head down to Rio Rico. We'll camp out for a few days. You guys bring a lot of fire, though. We're going to need it. It's cold down there.
We've had probably 10 to 15 inquiries, every place from Dubai, Israel, Europe, Australia, all over. So there's a lot of interest worldwide.
Are you partnering with are you chatting with some of your Shark Tank brothers and sisters about that? I'm thinking right now that, who was killing it internationally was Johnny George in Florida. Have you talked to him?
No.
I chat with him every now and then. And the last time I talked to him, he's like, man, I just shipped a couple boatloads of product to Israel. He's like, we're in 35 European countries. He's got the tree teepee.
Yep.
He's the crying farmer, nicest guy on the planet. And he was selling these things all over the world. It was awesome. So
didn't he make the deal with Kevin Harrington?
No, he was John Paul
DeJoria.
Yeah. Who just started a show on CNBC last week. I got to check that out. He loves John Paul, by the way. He's all over that guy.
Awesome.
But we have people that are, and I can't say a lot but you'll see it probably on some of the Survivor shows. That's their what they decided to take with them, if you will. They get 1 or 2 items to take, and so that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Burnett's carrying the stuff around in his pockets, huh? Just in case he needs them on the show.
There you go.
You know what you need to do is get some on The Walking Dead. Then you would blow up.
There you go.
Yeah. Next time they have cannibals cooking their own people, their rivals, they're just, hey, where's that Insta-Fire?
That's it.
So, the one thing I want to talk about is QVC. Lori's doing this deal where her entrepreneurs head out to QVC prior to the night of the airing. You did that, right?
We did not go.
Oh, you didn't do that. Okay.
No, we did not.
But you've been on QVC.
Have not yet.
Oh, did you mention? Okay, so you're working on QVC.
Yes. so we're just working on QVC.
Okay.
So we went through the paperwork. We were scheduled to go in the next
May
couple of
23rd
days.
or something like that.
And they just called up, said, hey, we needed to bump you, and we're waiting for that bump date, what it is. So
Yeah. So you guys can go with Scrub Daddy, and he can clean everything up when you're done, and
there you go.
it'll be.
There you go. That'd be cool.
All right. Well, you guys have been great. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you. I'll have to save the QVC airtime question for someone else because I know Lori's been kind of doing that lately. But before we go, is there anything that stands out that you want to tell other entrepreneurs that want to replicate your success on Shark Tank? What's the number one piece of advice you would have given yourselves a year and a half ago, knowing nothing except how to play with fire in your hand about this whole process?
Patience.
Yeah, the other thing I would say is, you see it on TV a lot, but know your numbers. And it's not just the numbers of how much it costs and how much you sell it for. It's all the other number, how big the industry is and how you can penetrate that whole industry and
have a plan.
Yeah, and have a plan to do that. So know your strategy.
Yeah, Mark's big on saying, how do we get this to 10 million or 100 million? Is that a conversation you guys have with him?
Yep.
Yeah, and so there's some other products that we're, looking at to develop, that really have a 50 million potential. So it can be big.
All right, we'll have them ready by the hardware show next month because I want to see them. Anyone who's in Vegas, come check them out. They're at booth 911.
In the outdoor arena.
Woo-hoo. Oh, so you're going to be outdoors?
Yeah.
Tailgate area.
It might be hot next week, man.
It's going to be 80 degrees.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Hope you're right. Hope you're right. Guys, congratulations on all your success. Really enjoyed the segment. Hoping for good things. Hoping for Beyond the Tanks and updates and that $50 million, whatever you want to call it, goal that you're shooting for. So thank you for coming on. Tell people where they can go pick up some of their own portable fire, and then we'll send you out.
www.instafire.com or Amazon. You can go to Wal Mart, Target, Home Depot, Academy Sports,
True Value, Ace.
I don't see any Mountain Man jackets on your website. You're not selling custom branded apparel?
Not yet. We need to, man. I got to get my.
Throw that up there.
I got to get my brothers the.
That's a coonskin cap.
Yeah, exactly. Get the Legends of the Fall crowd involved in this.
Yeah, when we're throwing tomahawks, we need to. I'm trying to get one that's real accurate to hit the flint steel at the a tomahawk throw. So.
Well, I can vouch for the product. I'm definitely going to make a YouTube video of my kids lighting stuff on fire, and I'm just really grateful you guys came on and shared your story. I think everyone's really going to enjoy it, so appreciate it.
You need to get into their warehouses. You need to
You're going to
be
give up
a
1/3 of your
constant
business
fixture.
to get into the stores you're in already?
Okay, I'll keep it
Meyer,
interesting. I'll drop the
Ace,
equity ask
Home
across all
Depot.
platforms to 20%.
Think of it this way. There's a reason why they have to keep on dropping their equity.
That's right.
We can all say the same thing she's saying. We all
All right,
add
Frank,
value.
what are you going to do?
Mark and Lori, you got a deal.
Yeah. Me too. Here we go.
Done. We're going to light up the world.
Thanks so much.
Mountain Man.
You bet.
I don't know how about. We do really well.
Good going, bud.
So we like this one. Good job. We'll take it.
That's awesome. Shark, baby.
Awesome, man.
We feel unbelievable.
Cloud 9, baby. Cloud 9.
Thank you for jumping in to the Shark Tank podcast. Please subscribe to the show on iTunes and head over to sharktankpodcast.net to get the show notes from each episode and join the free Shark Tank Insiders list. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Shark Tank Podcast and on Twitter at Shark Tank PDcast.